Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Genovian Canadians podcast, formerly known as Podcast G. I'm your host, Gatluak Kaye. First thing first, to all our viewers, our subscribers, we would like to send our sincere apologies for your patience waiting for the episode that we were going to release. So it took us quite some time, a couple of months actually, or more, for us to get to this point. Of course, to our first viewers, you guys were aware that we were operating under Podcast G, and then about a month or two ago, we made some changes to our YouTube channel at Genovian Canadians. So from now moving forwards, this is Genovian Canadians podcast. I'm your host, Galwaka here. On tonight's episode, we'll have three segments. I'll try my best to keep them really brief and precise. First segment will be we'll be talking about the upcoming Alberta municipal elections. This year is Alberta's municipal elections, so we'll talk on that. And the second segment, just to appreciate volunteers and those who came out and participated in 2025 East African Festival. So, and then the last or the third segment will be some highlights from the ongoing United Nations General Assembly, the 80th United Nations General Assembly. So, in this assembly, in this year's assembly, African leaders made some great speeches, and from there, I will give you some highlights. We'll share some highlights, some of their speeches, and of course, the Israel Palestine's agenda dominated most of the discussion that took place in New York at United Nations General Assembly. So those will be three of our segments. Again, thank you for joining us. Please go subscribe on our YouTube channel at Genovian Canadians. 2025 is municipal elections in the province of Alberta. So, of course, these elections comes every 4 years. Municipal elections in Canada are non-partisan. However, because of the political atmosphere that we are currently experiencing in Canada, not only in Canada, in United States, our neighbor south, in the southern border. So there is so many hot political challenges that are facing people that are seeking political offices. So we will go through that, and we'll use one of our brother that identified himself as a candidate, some of the challenges that he's going through in this municipal elections in Alberta. Of course, the province of Alberta, the municipalities will hold their elections on October 20th. However, I just want to highlight, I also would like our viewers to know some of within our community, in African communities, we have two individuals that will be running. One in Calgary is Gargar, of course. Most of you in Alberta know who Gargar is. And then another one is Muli Tesfaye in Edmonton. So Gargar is seeking a seat in Ward 9, and Muli Tesfaye is seeking a seat in Ward O'Dayman in Edmonton. So if you are residents of these two wards, I encourage you to please register and make your voice heard. I think it is really important in this country that we participate in the democratic process. This, us immigrants, this is our opportunity to exercise our peaceful rights in terms of engaging in activities, making our voices heard. So voting is really, really important. So in regards to these coming elections, I will speak a little bit on Gargar in Ward 9, the challenges that is facing in the meantime. So first, before I move on to Gargar's challenges, I want to give homage to the incumbent or the outgoing councilman or councillor, my friend Giancarlo Corra, GC. For those of you who followed how engaged I was in Canadian politics, you probably are aware of how Giancarlo Corra and I became friends. Of course, in 2017, I helped him get elected in Ward 9, and that was I believe it was his second term. I was a part of his volunteer campaign team. Giancarlo Corra did a lot for Ward 9. I want to give him his homage. I want to give him his flowers for all he has done. Served 3 terms in Ward 9 as a city councillor in that area. So many changes. He revitalized the International Avenue, of course. He made some changes, community building initiatives, safe community and safe neighborhood initiative that he started. He invested a lot in cultural community as well. So I want to say thank you to Giancarlo Corra for his service, and I look forward to seeing you um, on to your next endeavor, and we appreciate you. Let's talk about Gargar. So, as an African man, and also somebody that know Gar personally, I want to give Gar props. I believe this is his third time running. He ran in provincial government, in provincial politics first, for, I believe it was for Alberta Party, and then in 2018, he ran in Ward 10 for city council, and then this year again is running again in Ward 9 for city council. So I want to give Gar and his family props for not giving up. The way we look at things sometimes, we African Canadians, sometimes when one invested their energy and time into community initiatives, some of us feel like that individuals is gaining a lot. There's nothing to gain in these politics. Gar has devoted his time volunteering, serving communities. Gar, Gar has devoted his energy in reaching out to those that needed support, vulnerable families, elder, seniors, youth. So to be able to do all of this require someone's time, someone's energy, a time that he could have invested into his family's well-beings, spending time with his children, with his beautiful wife Nancy. So we have to give props to Gar, and I encourage all our African brothers there that have time. Please make some time to go canvassing with Gargar, door knocking, help him reach out to those that are residents in Ward 9, from Bridgeland to Ogden to all the way to Aberdales. So these are the areas and the communities in between. Those are Ward 9. So if someone has served, put in a lot of volunteer hours, it is sometimes, and they keep trying, they want to serve their communities, they want to become a public servant, sometime, maybe this year is the right time for Gargar. Of course, Gar posted on his social media about some of the challenges that he's facing in his campaign. So some of his campaign signs are getting removed. Individuals come take away his campaign signs, or where he placed them in front of the residents' lawns as well. So this is unacceptable. This has no place in our community. This has no place in our society. So if you have negative or wrong feelings, or you are not buying the campaign slogan that that candidate is running on, take it to the ballot box. Take it to the ballot box on the elections day. So when the election comes, you go vote for the candidate of your choice. That's how we resolve things in Canada. That's how we resolve issues in terms of politics in this beloved country. So to the residents of Ward 9, please, if you see an individual taking away another candidate's signs, or they are getting vandalized, please step in, call the authorities, and then let that individuals get their way with the authorities. This has no rooms in our communities. These individuals that comes out, put their names in the ballot box. This is for the best of our communities. It is not easy to run for a political post, for a political office. It is a commitment that requires time, resources, energy, and these individuals has to be appreciated. So this is what I want to get out there, the message of us getting out and vote on the elections days. rather than taking away campaign signs, throwing them out, vandalizing them. This is not the right way to go. I believe, Brother Gar, on your social medias, you share some individual that is doing that on a broad daylight. This has no room, and I hope that person is dealt with by authorities. And do not be discouraged, Gargar. Move forward with your campaign. I've seen that you are doing fantastic. You are garnering a lot of support in Ward 9 because you put a lot of work energy in serving your communities. I believe, I'm not sure who the rest of the candidates are in Ward 9, and I wish you all the best. For our community members out there, you don't have to be a resident of Ward 9 to go support Gar. And what I mean by supporting him is reach out. You can go volunteer in his campaign office. You can go by making phone calls. You can go by door knocking with him, distributing his campaign papers so that the ward residents are aware of what Gar is running on. So there's so many ways to support Gar to engage. The same goes to those who are in Edmonton. Please show your support to brother Mule Tespai. Of course, those who know Mule is a veteran, is a former Canadian Armed Force veteran. So he actually served this country. He gave his life for this country by serving in the Canadian Armed Forces. He's a former businessman. I do believe he still owns a business there, and he's a community leader in Edmonton. So, Mule Tesfai, all the best. And please, if you live in Edmonton and area, please reach out to Mule's campaign and volunteer. Help him spread the word. So these are the people that we need in our community. So we need to get in our municipal politics. So those who are working tirelessly and pay our taxes and support this country have to have our voice heard as well. So, Gar, Muli, all the best. Let me jump in again to our second segment. Man, it's African Festival. So, in late 2023, one man had a vision. Calgary's Afro Canadians community is very big, large. So, one man, the executive director of Comcon Africana Institute, in late 2023, had a vision, and that vision transcended into what we call East African Festival. So CoreTop in 2023 wanted to bring East African communities together to share their cultures, their customs, their way of living, food, a festival for 12 East African communities, which would also eventually become one of the Calgary's most diverse communities as well. So Core went on and shared, had a meeting with East African leaders, East African communities leaders, and they were on board. And then the rest was history. So Calgary Foundation started give the funding for the festival to go ahead in 2024. Again, 2025 this year, it happens. This is one of those initiatives that the impact of it is felt. People felt it. People feel it like they really, really owns it. And this is the vision that CORE wanted. So as an executive director of Comcon Africana Institute, the way was to engage and lead and give the communities their own identity, to present it in a way that they know best. And East African Festival successfully finished their second annual in 2025. And what a year it will be in 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, East African communities that are in YYC or in Calgary and area, 12 East African communities, all of them, this is their event. It has been excited. It has been really inclusive. The leaders took it as their own. And in next 5 to 10 years, this will be even bigger in the province of Alberta. It probably not only will be in Calgary, it will grow to other cities like Edmonton, maybe all over Canada. So to all the East African community leader out there, to all the partners that give the resources in terms of making this event successful, to all the vendors, those who came and showcased their businesses and their service, to every volunteer that put their energy and time into the planning process in making sure that this festival is successful. So we just want to give you a shout out and thank you. So European Canadians podcast, myself was one of those that did a lot of promotions, and I did it under umbrella of Komkan Africana Institute. So one man's vision impacted the whole community in the greater Forest Lawn area. And what can we say? Thank you, and we'll see you again next year. I'm going to end this episode by acknowledging the speeches that were given at the 80th United Nations General Assembly in New York. There is a wave of great African leaders that are not afraid anymore. They are fed up with the Western manipulative aspect of how they maneuver their games toward African countries. And William Samai Ruto inspired me. He delivered a remarkable speech to the United Nations General Assembly. This is what he had to say.
You cannot claim to be the United Nations while disregarding the voice of 54 nations. It is not possible. Africa is no longer willing to wait on the margins of global governance while decisions about peace, security, and development are made without our understanding, without our perspectives, and without our voice. Africa's exclusion is not only unacceptable, unfair, and grossly unjust, it also undermines the very credibility of the United Nations, this organization. Africa dominates most of the Security Council agenda, provides some of the largest contingents of UN peacekeeping forces, and bears the heaviest costs of instability. Yet we remain the only continent without a permanent seat at the main table where decisions about our destiny are made. Africa deserves, ladies and gentlemen, at the very least, 2 permanent seats with full rights, including the right to veto, and 2 additional non-permanent seats on the United Nations Security Council. The world must understand that reforming the Security Council is not a favor to Africa or to anybody. It is a necessity for the United Nations' own survival. If the United Nations is to remain relevant in this century, it must reflect today's realities, not the post-war power arrangements of 1945.
That's William Ruto. So I'm going to end with this. One of the agenda that most leaders, including our Prime Minister, was the Israel-Palestine conflict at the United Nations. 157 out of 193 members country at the United Nations, 157, they all called for the state of Palestine to be recognized as a solution to end the conflict between the Israel and the Palestine. 157 countries are calling for the state of Palestine to be recognized. So the Israel-Palestine war ends. 2-state solutions is what majority of the members at the United Nations General Assembly echoed. And I'm going to end it this way. These are some of the highlights of what they had to say.
Je déclare que la France reconnaît aujourd'hui l'État de Palestine.
Et nous voulons aussi reconnaître à la Palestine la qualité d'État en droit international, ce que je fais devant vous.
Belgium is giving out a strong political and diplomatic signal to the world today by joining the group of countries that announces the recognition of the State of Palestine in the margin of this high-level week of the United Nations General Assembly.
I solemnly declare that as of today, Luxembourg formally recognizes the State of Palestine.
The Republic of Malta is proud to confirm our official recognition of Palestinian statehood.
Le gouvernement d'Andorre a approuvé la reconnaissance de la Palestine.
Portugal formally recognize the State of Palestine as a sovereign state with full rights.
Yesterday, Australia recognised the State of Palestine.
Canada recognises the State of Palestine.
Ireland last year, with Spain, Norway and Slovenia, recognised the State of Palestine.
I stand before you today beneath the emblem of the United Nations to confirm the historic decision of the British government to recognise the State of Palestine.
We are here today to help navigate the only way out of this nightmare, a two-state solution. And let's be clear, statehood for the Palestinians is a right, not a reward.
That's what concluded our episode for today. This is short and simple episode, and we will try our best to keep them short for you guys. Again, we appreciate you. Please go subscribe at Genuine Canadians on our YouTube channel. So please go subscribe at Genuine Canadians podcast. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Gat Loak Kayer. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you next Friday. Thank you.